What's up, film family, and welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name's Deion,
And my name's Scott.
and today we're doing the 2025 zombie horror film 28 Years Later. And to start, we're going to give our general thoughts. Then we're going to hear from our listeners. We're going to get into a deep dive. And then to close the show, we're going to have an award show called the Filmies. So you're going to want to stay to the end for that. But Scott, before we get into all that, we should get into our general thoughts.
General thoughts.
General thoughts.
General thoughts. I liked it. I'm
Okay.
still not a huge horror movie guy. Like, I realized that
Yeah.
as I'm watching, like when I came out of the theater, I was like, this is a good movie. Like, I liked the story. It was a decent story. It wasn't as good as the first, in my opinion, the story wise anyways. But it had a few unexpected moments, which I liked. Um, there were some interesting shots in the movie. There was some interesting, like, I like the three separate acts and kind of where they took things and they did different things with each one, which I want to get into a little bit later. But yeah, overall, I'm still not a big horror movie guy. Like, there's this whole air of creepiness around it, which I actually really liked. But I don't know, like some of like the jump scares and stuff, it's just like, I don't know, just not my thing. But overall, I still liked it.
Okay. It's interesting you said that because I didn't like it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I actually didn't like the movie. And did you watch the other two beforehand, or you just got to did
Yeah.
you get to see
Yeah, I
only
did.
the first one?
I
Oh,
watched
so you
both
saw
of them.
both of them.
Yeah, both.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. It's funny you say that too because it's just a little behind the scenes for the people. You were asking me if we should do 28 Years Later, and at that point I already seen it.
Oh, you had seen it
So
already.
now you know. I already seen it. Yeah. So
Mm.
now you understand my hesitation where I was like, all right, it's your choice. You sure you wanna you sure you wanna pick this movie? You're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, if it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to watch it. And I was like, please pick another. No, it wasn't that. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, and I wouldn't even say it's a bad movie. I just didn't like it. So I was just like, man, I don't know if I want to talk about it. But then I was like, you know what? I should talk about movies that I also don't like too. You know what I mean? You know what the
Yeah.
like? I was excited to see it, but I just ended up liking it. So that's doesn't mean you shouldn't just talk about it. We
Yeah, I
can
mean,
get in, and I'm kind
we
of curious to
mentioned,
hear why you liked it.
yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, we mention all the time that, like, there's one, we're not gonna like every new release, and when, we're doing Superman next week. We both might hate it, but we're gonna do it anyways. We're gonna talk
Yeah.
about it, and and this is one where I actually liked it. And you're right. This is really weird because you're a horror movie guy, and I'm not, and I'm the one that liked it. But maybe that's why. Maybe like you had the things that you like about horror movies, they didn't do well for whatever reason, and I almost don't even know what those tropes are, or like, the things to
Mhm.
be looking for in a horror movie. So those things didn't bother me. But yeah, I'm interested. So what didn't you like about it the most, would you say?
I mean, yeah. Again, since this is our general thoughts, so we'll go into deeper into it in our deep dive. But to me, the first of all, Spike's character, like the
Hmm.
kid, I didn't like the character. I didn't like that kid. I think there was a strong opening, which is something that the franchise has always been good with.
Hmm.
As you've seen all the three movies, they always start with a very intense beginning, and this one lived up to that. But then also, I feel like I didn't really connect with the mom either, and I just didn't like the structure of the story, which is also interesting because you said you kind of like that part too, which again makes me interested to see like to hear the counter opinion of it.
Yeah.
But those are the main reasons that I didn't like it. It's
I
the
I
mom, the kid, and then the structure of the movie.
Okay, so I agree with you on the mom. I thought she, like, her whole, like, the confusion thing. I thought it was overplayed almost.
Yeah.
Not necessarily by the performance, just in the story. Like, it happened constantly where she was just confused, like, who's Spike? Where are we? Like, where are we going? What's going on? And then she had this whole thing about, like, with her dad, and she thought Spike was her dad, and like it just was constant. Whereas, like, they establish it early on, like, that she has confusion, she has some sickness and something's going on. Like, you don't need to keep reminding us over and over and over that she's confused. Like, we get it, she's confused. So, like, that was her only character trait throughout the whole
Yeah.
movie. So yeah, I agree with you there on the mom. Spike, I don't disagree either. I wouldn't say I didn't like him, but I also didn't love him. I thought he was kind of whatever. but to have that as your main character could be a pretty big downfall. So I don't blame you there. But the
Yeah,
story
you don't want to
structure,
hear that from the main.
exactly. You don't want to hear that for your main character. So I won't give you any pushback there, but the story structure, I will give you pushback when we get there. I have a whole point on it. Don't worry.
Okay. All right, that's fair. That is fair. There is parts of it I did like though. I'm not gonna come across like I hated the whole thing. Like I said, I
Mhm.
thought there was a strong opening. There's a lot of interesting cinematography that was done in here, and then I like the addition of like the alpha zombies because that wasn't something
Okay.
that
Yeah.
they did in the. I mean, there wasn't enough time in the 28 days later for things to be turning into alphas, and weeks didn't happen in weeks, and then years we got some kind of a different level of zombie, which I thought was interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, in weeks, it wouldn't really make sense to have it either because it's like it's eradicated, right? They're gone
Yeah.
from the thing. So like it would need time to evolve and change into this. So that's why it makes sense for it to be in this one. And you're right, that was an interesting thing that they brought something new to that aspect of the movie. It's not just the same kind of zombies. But so is this your weakest of the three? Like, what's your favorite, and how would you rank
Uh,
them?
it's tough now because I have my reasons for not like I on one is one is
Okay.
number one, and I didn't love two mostly for the freaking visuals. Like as far as the story goes and the characters, I actually like them, but like just it was too much freaking shaky camera in the second one. It was just like it was annoying. I was like, all right, dog, relax. Like you're having fun over here. The producers are clearly not holding your hand. They're letting you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
They're not even thinking about like if this is annoying the audience as they're watching it. It's like it was a lot.
Okay.
And I but then watching this movie, I gotta put this one to last. Even though I gotta say Weeks is better than this one now, just because of in the comparison, in the other movies, I actually liked the characters. I was actually interested in the story. The second one was really much more the visuals that held it back for me. Besides that, I didn't have any issues with the second one.
Yeah, I like the second one a lot too. I remember I was hearing people like everyone loved the first one, and the first one's great. And then people were like, I don't really like the second one as much. Some people said like they flat out just didn't like it.
Mhm.
And then I watched it and I was like, this is great. I was loving the second one. That I could see what you were talking about like visually. But even the first one, like it's recorded on like a camcorder. It's like Shaq at the All Star game. Like it doesn't look amazing either. Even the first one.
No, but I mean that goes with the theme though. Like they're trying to be gritty and everything. So at least that one, I was like, okay, it looks kind of dirty. It doesn't look like the best quality. I'm like, yeah. But the second one, the quality was there. It was
Yeah.
just the movements were just so absurd. I was just like, all right,
And there was this
like I
whole like underground scene where there's no light, and then it's just
that I
like
actually
seeing through
liked
the
though.
scope.
Yeah, because that's
You're all over the
creepy.
place, man. You're all over the place.
No, because I was steady, man. Like you can do a little bit of the shaking. Like people that know Cloverfield, like that's the classic
Hmm.
movie that was shot
Found
entirely on a
footage.
camcorder. Yeah, found
Yeah.
footage stuff. Like you can do found footage well. Like think
Hmm.
of even District 9. Like that's found footage that's done well. It doesn't have to be like just because it's found footage doesn't mean like the person has to be a jackass on camera. Like
Doesn't have to be
they can be a
someone with Tourette's holding the camera. It could be,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. But yeah, that's how I ranked them. But
All right, that's fair.
overall,
Well,
overall, not a
I'm excited
bad
to
movie, but
dive deeper into it and discuss kind of maybe when I make my points, I'll persuade you a little more and you'll
maybe
like it a
that's why
little
I'm
more.
excited to hear it, and maybe
All right.
I'll shift you over to the dark side.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna find out.
But before
Uh,
that,
Before that, we should get into our family meeting.
let's get
I
into
don't
it.
have friends. I got family.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the family meeting. We are all part of the film family, and we like to get opinions from everyone in the film family, not just me and Dion, because you guys are probably smarter than we are and have seen different movies and have different opinions.
100%.
So I asked on our Instagram story simply, what do you think of 28 years later? Normally, when we do a new release, we do it like right away that weekend. So I can't
Yeah,
really ask that question. But this
yeah,
one, we waited a week. So I was like, okay, maybe some
it's
people have
true.
seen it and they'll have some thoughts on it. Um, we got a Grubby who
Okay.
said is original. Original as fuck is what he
Mm.
said. So I totally agree. This like
It
what we're
is,
talking
yeah.
about, like adding to the alphas to the thing, like that's a whole new thing. I've never seen it in like a zombie lore before.
Mhm.
Like just even the first one, like just the way that these movies are a story within the world of zombies. It's not really like a zombie movie. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
No, I
it
know.
is a
I get
zombie
what you
movie, but
mean.
there's a whole other stuff.
Yeah.
Like it is very original. It's a good point.
No, I 100% agree. And that's definitely not something that doesn't lack from this franchise. Every movie doesn't feel like it's just trying to do a copy of the last one. It's like it's obviously the same premise, but it's like we have like a different element of like hope, or there's this different little thing that's happening at this time period with the zombies or whatever, or the infected, because they don't really call them zombies. They're the
True.
infected.
Actually, I read that because he does Eric, the guy in this movie,
Yeah.
the army guy, the Navy
Yeah.
SEAL or the Swedish army dude. He does call a zombie when the pregnant woman
Oh yeah.
infected gives birth to the baby. He's like, oh, fucking zombie baby, and that's the only time in the
Um,
franchise that someone actually calls him a zombie. Because other than
oh
that, you're right, they just
really?
say infected. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize that was the only time. I would have thought someone just like slipped because like they've been like, damn, these things are kind of like zombies. Like
yeah.
that's crazy. The only time.
But if you think about it, like that never.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't
it's
think of
true.
another time
It is true, but this movie just gets classified as like a zombie movie, which
because it is.
yeah, because yeah, that's what the infected are. Yeah, like
Yeah.
in Walking Dead, I don't think they. I think it takes them a while, but everyone has like their own like little weird name. Because I just think of like everything always goes back to The Walking Dead. I think I said on
Yeah.
the show I watched all 11 seasons, so like every zombie thing is just a comparison of Walking Dead to me. They call them
Infected
like
thing.
yeah, infected. They call them like they call them walkers. They call them geeks. They call them all these random things.
Everything but zombies.
Everything but zombies. Everyone
Mm.
has their own weird names for them.
It's like a stigma around the word zombie or something. Like why
I
can't you just
guess
say
so.
zombie?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh well. And then my boy Caesar, we were DMing a little bit talking about this.
Okay.
He said he's a big horror movie guy, and he said he loved it. He said it reminded him of Attack on Titan. What do you think of that?
I'm wearing an Attack on
I saw
Titan shirt
that
on
you were wearing the
purpose
shirt. Yeah.
because I was thinking that the zombies were like Titans,
hmm
just like mini Titans. I mean, there's. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for the people. I haven't even finished the show, but I'm not going to spoil anything for people that I want to get onto that. But yeah, that 100% made me feel like Attack on Titan. I like that Caesar
I was thinking the same
caught
thing
that.
with them, like the way they were running, like all
Yeah.
just crazy. Even the alpha thing, like having one that can kind of control them and is a little bit bigger. Like there's different types of titans and stuff like that. So I was getting the same kind of vibes.
That's what Danny Boyle's been doing, or Alex Garland. They just been watching Attack on Titan. He's like, yo, I think we got some. I think we got something a little
Yeah.
different.
A colossal infected and a armored infected and
Are you imagine? Yeah, they just find like that little bridge they've been running on is actually just a giant infected
Mm.
lying down and just gets up. Oh man, that'd be crazy.
What part of the infected do you think it is? It's a giant infected. It's the
Yeah,
it's the meat. It's the penis. That's exactly what it is. They've been running across the ocean on
Oh,
infected dick.
oh my god, that's the Filmies spinoff.
Yeah. Samson, man.
Oh.
That guy was just making me feel bad about myself.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I didn't know we were gonna get a glizzy in the movie like that.
I know, man. Thank God I didn't watch it in 4D or else I would have got smacked in the face.
Yeah, a worker just comes in. Hey, I don't want that much of an experience. Chill out.
You paid
Sir,
for
you-
this, damn it.
Yeah.
Here you go. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
And with that ends the family meeting.
Actually,
unless
no.
you-
We
okay,
got
you
one more.
something? All right.
I got
All right.
something. I got something. My sister. The funny thing is, me and my sister saw the trailer for the movie a while ago, and I was like, "Oh, have you ever seen any of the 28 Days movies?" She's like, "No, I wasn't born. Whatever." She just has to remind me that I'm old. But I was like, "Okay, go back and watch them, and then we can watch them. Do you think that looks interesting?" Like, yeah, it looks kind of interesting. Like, I'll give it a chance. And then we just didn't like reconnect and say that like, "Okay, let's go watch this together." We watched something else, and then on the Monday, I went to go watch it, and then when I saw her on Canada Day, she's like, "Deion, I just saw 28 years later yesterday." I was like, "Oh yeah, me too." She's like, "It was buns."
Damn. Damn.
And I was like, you know what? I agree. I think it was kind of buns. And she actually said a lot of the same reasons I didn't like it. So I was like, oh damn, me and my sister are very much alike.
Almost like you're
And
related.
as it goes, Yeah, it's like we're related. And as it goes
Crazy.
between me and her, and she wanted this shout out, we refer to the movie as 28 Buns Later.
Well, but you can't do that because you don't know which one it's gonna that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's
Because
true.
they're all 28 blank later.
Yeah, that is true.
That could be any of them.
No, but we know. We know which one we're
yeah, the
talking
two
about.
of you.
Yeah,
You'll
we know which one we're talking about.
Because she's a big horror movie fan too, right?
Yeah. She wasn't always like, she hated horror movies. There's certain things that she won't watch, like she doesn't like clowns. But I tried. That was the first one I tried to get her into. Not to go on too much of a tangent, but I was like, "Yo, Jenny, you gotta watch horror movies. You're missing." I was like, "No, I don't like it. I like it." I made her watch it. She's like, "Oh no, I hate it." And then I made her watch Halloween, and then she was like, "Okay, these are kind of fun." She's like, "I kind of like these." And then boom, now it's just, that's like her favorite genre. That and thrillers. She's just like thrillers and horrors.
They're hand in hand.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Yeah, they're not the same. Like there's tropes that you could like. I feel like, yeah, you can have horrors that are more comedic. You can have different types of that, but I feel like most horrors are thrillers.
Yeah, no, it's true. No, you're right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
All right, well, I
But
appreciate
that's it.
that's a good point. Buns, damn. So I got my work cut out for me. I got to defend this movie here in this episode. I got some. I hope she's listening and she's gonna hear all of my points. And hey, we'll see what happens. I guess
We'll see what happens.
So yeah, there
That's
it is.
the end.
That's the family.
That's the end of the
family
family
meeting. Yeah.
With the way the movie started, I talked about how the intro was a strong intro. What did you think of like the Jimmy beginning?
Yeah, I was I didn't I th- you know what's funny? I kind of thought after when we saw Jamie right after this, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character,
Yeah,
I thought that was Jimmy.
same.
Like I was like, okay, this is obviously something. And then 28 years later, so I was like, okay, who's this kid? And then we see Jamie, and I was like, oh, I guess this is Jimmy, and his dad was a priest, and blah blah blah. And then like, it's not. And then we see like Jimmy kind of like scratched into the body of the guy that was hanging, and we see it spray painted on the wall at some point. And then I was like, who is Jimmy? And then part of me also thought that it was Cillian Murphy's character because he was Jim.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was almost kind of just a little bit confused by it. And then we find out obviously right at the end that it's just a setup for the next movies. But I thought it was interesting, at least like, seeing all the kids watching Teletubbies and then right into the horror. I was like, okay, this is crazy.
Yeah, no, it was again strong beginning, and I didn't even make the link to Jim, like from the first movie, like Cillian Murphy's character. I didn't make that link until like later when I left and saw like, I think I saw someone on Reddit say that, and I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like then the movie ended, and I was like, I clearly wasn't him. They're talking about that Jimmy dude, but I was like, I was confused. Like, is Jimmy not the dad that we're seeing now?
Yeah,
Like that did confuse me. I for whatever reason it just didn't make sense to me.
yeah, because I was without the reveal at the end with the friggin' Power Rangers that come through. It's like, who is this kid, and why are we even seeing who this kid is? Like, he has no relation to anything else in this movie. So yeah, for the whole like 95% of this movie, you're just like, who was that kid? Yeah,
And that is part of the reason I didn't like the movie. Not the fact that Jimmy wasn't the dad. I was okay with that. I was like, I mean, I honestly didn't even realize it. Literally the whole time until the end, I thought it was the dad. And then when I got that reveal and they showed Jimmy at the end, and then we got this whole like little like, hey, come along with us kind of thing, that cheesed me, because this is not a TV show. It's a contained movie. Why are you? And it's not a book. It's not a TV show. It's not a graphic novel. Why are you bringing back a franchise and marketing this as a one film when you really just made us a part one? That cheesed the hell out of me. That was one of the bigger parts. The reason why I didn't like it. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I agree with that, because you're right. Like, it's funny that you said you don't like it, but you said you love the beginning, like just the strong start of it.
Yeah.
And I feel you on that because, yeah, it was just right into the action, was great. But I also agree that, like they didn't need to do that. Like that whole Jimmy at the start and then Jimmy at the end, all like the only reason those two are in there is to set up for future movies. Like it has nothing to do with this movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
So like to have that at the start, just to have a callback right at the end, like if you just didn't have that at the start at all, that changes absolutely nothing. Like you could have had that at the start of the next movie to
Yeah.
show us how Jimmy started out, right? How he started out with the infection. But I mean, I didn't even know this going into the movie, but I read afterwards that this is the first of a planned trilogy of sequels. So there's going to be two more.
Yeah, I know. And I what the way the movie ended, I immediately was like, okay, so they're gonna make a sequel. I didn't know either until I saw later that like the next one's gonna be like 28 years later, like Temple of Bones or something like that. Is that what I think that was like the working title?
Yeah,
Something like that. They
I
already
think
have a
you're probably
director.
right. And
My
Alex Garland, who wrote this one,
yeah,
is writing all three.
bro, that's messed up. Just announce that you guys are planning on doing a trilogy, or you know what it is or whatever. Like, because the other movies weren't like this. They're all self-contained. So I
Mhm.
think to me, it's just as a like
Well,
as a fan of the franchise, I think it's kind of what we're gonna say.
well, the second one, the end opens it up. You know, the boy that's infected goes off on the helicopter across the ocean, and then we see them at the Eiffel Tower, like zombies running around. So that
You
clearly
know,
opens up to another
it's
one.
like in more of a subtle way though. Even the first one
Yes.
ends in kind of like a cliffhanger though. This one was too much like in your face. Like this, it literally felt like an episode of a TV show.
Yeah.
Like that's literally how you cliffhang a TV show, where it's like, oh, cool. But no, in this case, I gotta wait like maybe 2 years. So that's it. To me, it's dissatisfying because it's like, man, I paid, especially because this is the movie. I didn't go to play it in IMAX. I paid it in AVX, which is like the next best thing. I paid more money to see this just to get a cliffhanger of a movie. And it's just like with these kind of things, I don't think you'd get upset when it's like you're going to see the Harry Potter movies, you know there's 8 of them. And you're
Yeah.
gonna watch 5 and it's gonna end on a cliffhanger. You're not upset. Same thing if it's like Dune or any of these movies, because you know their books, you know their franchises. When you go into something and they don't tell you it's a part 1 and they don't tell you, hey guys, we're making a trilogy, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy this contained story. And you can do a subtle way of maybe they see a note and it says Jimmy's looking for you or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but
Or
to me
like
that
we
one was
said, just having Jimmy, he was carved into the dude hanging, and they're like, oh, maybe it was a punishment, like somebody did this to them, and then have him spray paint. So just have like little nuggets of him throughout. But that was quite in your face. But I mean, it's kind of funny that you mentioned Dune, because Dune literally did this. They marketed it as one movie, and then you walk in and the title card says Dune Part 1.
yeah, but at least they're books. So
That's
you
fair.
kind of know, you already know it's leading to more. So
Yeah, but
that's
it
why
could
it
have been all in
didn't
one
bother
movie.
me.
We didn't. The
It's
the
true.
first iteration of Dune was all one movie.
You're not wrong. But there's a lot more good things going towards Dune
I
than
agree. Yeah, I'm not saying this is as good as Dune.
do you think
That's not what I'm saying.
Paul Atreides was whatever?
No,
Did you feel
no, he was
whatever
not
about
whatever.
Paul?
Exactly. He was pretty
Exactly.
dope. He was
Exactly.
he was
Exactly.
pretty
So
dope.
that's why it's not a good comparison.
No. But just in this sense of the
Yeah.
marketing and then reveal that it's a part 1. But one question I had, like, because so it's going to be a trilogy, right? And
Yeah.
to me, like, they can't mess with the 28 blank later thing. Like 28
Yeah.
years later, the Bone Kingdom or whatever, Temple of Bones. Like, no. We need, what's a better name for that? I was actually talking with Alexis a little bit earlier. I was like,
Yeah.
what should it be? Like that they can't up this thing, up the ante and go like 28 decades later. Like that's
Yeah.
just too much. So
Mhm.
what we were thinking was, what if it's like a 28 hours later and it's just like the next day, or even 28 minutes later and the movie starts like right after, and like and Spike is walking with the Jimmies and he's like, so who are you guys? How did you get here? You know what I mean? Like,
That's a good idea. That is a good. I really like that. Actually, it's like then you go like reverse with it, where it's just like,
yeah.
yeah, you're going backwards. Maybe you go hours, then it's minutes. If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna work through the trilogy like that, or maybe you do minutes and then hours. But I, I like your idea. Go write them. I don't think they're gonna do it though.
No.
I think they're locked in on the years. Everything's gonna be years with a little bracket with a
Ah,
different title. I think.
I don't
I think
like
that's what
that.
they're doing.
I don't like
I
that.
don't like it either.
I think it could have been sick, man. 28 minutes later, and then it's just Spike
No,
with the
100.
gang, or 28 hours, and it's just the next day, or
Yeah. No, 100%. I
28
agree.
months.
I
28 months wouldn't be terrible. A couple years later.
Yeah, because they skipped that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So they 100% could do that. How much 20? That's what, 2 years
2 years and 4
and a
months.
bit. So I guess that's probably, and that's how long it probably take to record it. 7
Yeah.
would probably be 2 years. Actually, the run, I don't know. I don't know how long it would take, but but I guess it depends on everyone's schedule. I don't know their schedule
Yeah.
at this moment.
But you could also you could even film it, have it ready, and then just wait until you have the perfect. It's been 28 months since we released 28 years, and there
Yeah,
you
that's
go.
true. I did see a funny thing about Boyle saying how he's just like, he was like, there was a small part of me. I was like, maybe I could have actually waited because it would have been 28 years later, but between between the first one and this one. But he's just like, I don't want to just make the movie though,
Yeah.
because he said he saw fans saying they're like, oh, you could have waited 2 more years. He's like, I don't know what he got grim with it. He's like, I might be dead. Like I don't know. Like I
Damn.
want to just make it now. Yeah, I don't know why you went. I don't know why you went there with it, but
I mean,
I was
he's
like, I
not
looked him
wrong.
up. I was like, how old is him? How old is he?
Hey, man, memento mori. Remember, you must die.
Yeah, no,
That's
100%.
that's
Yeah,
his whole. That's the whole point of this movie. It was on the top of his head. That's why he went there.
100%. But
Yeah.
I like your idea. That's not a bad idea
Yeah, I
for
think it could
doing
be
the.
cool.
No, 100%. There, and then it goes to the parts that I actually liked. Like I like the cinematography. Like when they go on the island and they're doing like their journey. Like he's
Mhm.
doing like his ritual of like, oh, like I don't know. I wouldn't know necessarily. Maybe it's a ritual. What do you call it, a ritual? When his dad brought him over to the island, like it's like a
Well, it's just
passing.
his first trip over. I don't think it's a ritual. I think it's just like a you're ready, let's
Like
do this. I don't know.
yeah, I was gonna say a passing of the torch, but that's not the term for it. But
Yeah.
I like that part. Like I like that aspect because then it's like now we're like, okay, we're going. Like we're seeing them on their island. We kind of know what's going on here, but like let's see what's been going on that island. Now we get like a little bit of seeing like the crawling kind of zombies. They're almost like I don't even know what you would really call those. Like they're very animalistic in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and then they're eating worms and
Yeah.
oh yeah, that was nasty, man. See, that's the stuff I was like, even just like eating worms, like a close up of this guy eating worms. I was like, this is I hate this stuff, man. I hate
But
it.
that's the point. That's the point. They're trying to get that exact reaction out of you.
But I literally just I don't like this. This is negative. Why do I
I know.
want to go and see something that I have a negative
No, but
response to?
yeah, no, I get what you mean by that, but I just mean in the sense of like every genre wants to make you feel something. You know what I mean? Like comedy
Right?
want to make you laugh, romance want to make you feel lovey dovey, whatever. Action you want to feel like you were ready to run through a wall. In
Hmm.
horror movies, they want to scare you, they want to thrill you, and they want to gross you out sometimes.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
I
just
don't
part of
want
it.
that. That
That's fair.
like you said, like if I want to feel romantic, if I want to laugh, if I want to feel strong, those are all good things. If I'm paying money to go experience and feel something good, why would I pay to feel disgust or fear?
Some people are like it, and you know what's funny because I resonate with my dad with the roller coaster thing because he doesn't like roller coasters. He's like why would I pay someone like to scare? He said why would he pay someone to scare me in the sense of a movie and like a roller coaster? He's like I wonder if I die. Like some people like that thrill. It's like there's a chance maybe you'll die. There's a small chance that you'll die from going on a roller coaster, but people like that thrill, and people go to see horror movies because like that thrill. They like that ooh like the goosebumps. They like the ooh because it
To
makes
me,
them feel
roller
something.
roller coasters is like adrenaline. Like I get adrenaline from a roller coaster. Like you come off of it and you're like buzzing and you feel your heart's pumping. But like I guess maybe you can get adrenaline from horror
Not I
movies. I
guess.
don't.
Not I guess. I'm telling you, you get an
Oh
adrenaline rush.
well,
I
I
think of
don't.
like I think of the last two movies that I saw that gave me an adrenaline rush, like in the sense of like because it was so like intense, was like Smile 2 and Bring Her Back. Like after walking out of those theaters, you're just like, damn, like that was crazy. Like you're just on the edge of your seat. Like literally on the edge of your seat. Like thrillers put you on the edge of your seats, but some horror movies like literally put you on the edge of your seat where it's just like, I don't know what's coming next. Like I don't know if someone's gonna jump out. Like I don't know if that person is safe. I don't know the person. Like it's just, and at least that's part of the reason why I like horror movies because I feel like that's my roller coaster. I don't like going on roller coasters because
Same.
I'm actually getting my body's actually getting thrown around. This is just emotionally throwing me around. I can just look at
Yeah,
the screen and get the ride through that.
that's worse to me. Hey, that's okay. I'm not a horror movie guy, and that's okay.
That's fair. Yeah, it's
That's
okay.
okay.
That's all.
I do
That's
love
okay.
the just the title cards of this movie though. Like the
Yeah.
whole like it just works so perfectly because I mean in a lot of movies you have like the start thing where they write kind of what's going on. It puts you at the state of the virus and the
Yeah.
world, like just kind of what's going on, and then 28 years later,
Yeah.
this story happens. And like you have this in other movies where it's like, okay, and 10 years later, here's the story. But that's not the name of the movie. This is the
Yeah.
name of the movie. So it's just I love it. It's great.
No, that's their way of doing a Family Guy moment without someone even saying
Basically.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
That's
the title
perfect.
cards aren't even like a giant. It's just like them saying what time has passed. It's like, hey, that's also the name of the movie.
Yeah, that's right. So is it a family? No, it doesn't, because they have to say it, right?
Yeah, someone's got to. I mean, I don't know if that was a rules established, but we're establishing that, or at least for
Okay.
us, someone's got
Yeah.
to say it. It can't just be on a piece of paper and then you'd be like, that's a no one. Someone has to say it, Junior. Someone has to say it.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Just
Yeah,
let
I
everyone
agree.
know. This is the rule for in the family part in
All
the,
right. It's been
the film room
established.
family. That's just it's been established.
Good.
But yeah, my next point. This is when I get in more into my nitty gritty of like why I don't like Spike, and
Okay.
it's the tension at home with his dad, like the conflict with his dad, and I understand. This is the one thing I have to off the jump, just in case Eloise is listening, and just so people know I'm not. The dad cheating obviously makes him a good guy. I mean,
Whoa.
a bad guy. Yeah, actually, Eloise
That's
won't be listening
hilarious
to
that
this one.
you had to make sure that your girlfriend was listening just
Yeah,
to say
yeah.
that. That's insane.
Is a bad guy. Is a bad guy.
Yeah.
But after that, there's the conflict because like they want us to hate Aaron Taylor Johnson in this moment. Where it's like, oh yeah, he's a cheater, whatever. Okay, yeah, you're a bad guy. But then his son comes through, and his son finds out that there's a doctor, and he's just like,
Mhm.
okay, why don't you want mom to see the doctor? And he's just like, and I'm with him because in my mind I'm like, okay, the dude's a doctor, but it's like a global pandemic. You know what I mean? It's been 28 years. Like, is this guy still practicing? Like, does he even like people that whatever their jobs were before the whatever happened in the world, and it's 28 years later? I assume nobody can do their job anymore.
It's irrelevant.
That's just my
yeah.
assumption. Because why are you practicing your trade still? like,
Yeah,
like you're
he
trying to
expects
stay
you to
alive.
walk to the doctor and there's just going to be a welcoming room and like
Yeah.
a receptionist and everything. Like, no, that's not how that works. Yeah.
And like considering how sick mom is, it's like, how is he gonna determine? Like, is he just gonna? I mean, he did end up doing that, but I'm like he even mentioned I don't have the tools. Like, just gonna put your hand on there, check pulses and stuff like that, feel for lumps and all these things. But you need more than that to determine what the heck is going on. And from that alone, I was like, I don't really like how like he's a kid, but I was like, this seems like buoy logic to me. And the thing that really bothered me is when after he finally tells him that, okay, hey, this is why I saw that dude on the island. This is completely reasonable to me. I saw bodies lined up all over, and this guy was holding a dead child on his shoulder, and all he did is wave at us. I'm not going to that dude. And he's like, oh, you want mom to die. I'm like, what? Did you not hear that story? That dude was just with a bunch of dead bodies and a dead child on his shoulder. And I'm going to bring my wife to him just because he was a doctor 28 years ago.
So I see what you're saying, but here's my pushback. One, Spike was born after this whole pandemic fiasco, right? So he doesn't know about the world before. Like there's even like when Eric pulls up and he's like showing him a cell phone and talking about like delivery drivers and the internet. He doesn't know what any of this stuff is. So he doesn't know, to him, a doctor is just someone that like takes care of sick people. He doesn't know that means he needs a hospital and equipment and medicine. And he doesn't know that, right? He's just like, if I take mom to this doctor, he can help her get better. Because that's what a doctor is in all of his life. That's all what his experience is. And I think it's also just like that connection of a mother and son, where it's like if your mom was sick and you didn't know what the problem was, and someone told you there's maybe a doctor that can, to your knowledge, help her, are you not going to risk going out and doing something to try and save your mom? Like this is his mom, man.
My argument is not so much on the kid. To me, it's just the writing of the scenario that to me just doesn't make sense. It's just like, yeah, he's a kid and yeah, he doesn't know what doctors do in the past, but it's just like as someone just watching it, it's just like, why would they just not to like they could just simply explain to him that it's just like that dude, like why even say that dude's a doctor? Because at that point, just be like he used to be a doctor. Doesn't mean he necessarily like that. Like I used to be in the NBA. The NBA has been done for 28 years. You know what I mean? I'm not a basketball player anymore. It's not like I'm not going to be dunking or whatever it is. Like to me, I just didn't like that aspect. I'm not really arguing the reasoning that Spike would want to bring his mom to save someone. To me, it's just the idea that we're not supposed to like Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. It feels like in that moment, but I'm just like, he seems pretty reasonable. The reasons why he didn't bring her, because then they're like, to me, it's just him throwing on the, oh, you want mom to die, and I'm just like, no, he doesn't. Like, at no point in the movie has it ever made it seem like he doesn't care about his wife. Like he's bringing her. There's just some
I
minimal
mean, he's
stuff, like
cheating
bringing
on
her
her.
breakfast. Huh? Well,
He's
before that, I'm
yeah.
saying before that moment, it wasn't like this lingering thing of just like, ugh, like he looked at his wife and looked disgusted or whatever. And then we find because the cheating thing even felt very random too.
That was
I was
pretty
just like,
random. Yeah.
yeah, again, to that point, I was like, up until that moment, he just seemed like a good dad, just taking care of his kid, taking care of his sick wife. And then like they go on their thing, he's happy, he's proud of his son, he lies for him, saying that he's a good, like, no, he did it, he killed him. I'm like, okay, he wants to hype his son up. And then he cheats on him and it's like on his wife, and I'm just like, okay, that was random. Like, what the heck?
See, that's interesting because that's something that I actually like about this movie, and it's something
Cheating?
that they. No, I'm not. I'm not you. Don't put that on me. Don't drag me down there with you. You said
I'm
that,
trying.
not me.
I'm trying to
Don't
bring
you,
you back.
Don't
I'm
you
trying to bring you
dare.
in my.
Don't you dare drag me down with you. I didn't say
Alexa's
that.
gonna listen to this one too.
Yeah, exactly. No, but they did this in 28 weeks later as well. Is like the flip of the dad being like a bad guy. Like
Yeah.
like they set up he's a family man, and like you said, they at the start he goes out with Spike on the island. He's a good fighter. He's showing him around. He's doing some questionable stuff like making him murder a dude that's hanging up and
Yeah.
everything. Like but I also understand that he's teaching him the lesson that like there's gonna be stuff if you're out here that there'll be like nasty scenarios that you're in that you're gonna have to like make crazy decisions and kill people, and you're gonna have to do some crazy stuff. So better to
Mm.
do it for the first time now while I'm here and I can help you. Um, and taking care of his wife and everything. Then we find out that he's cheating. And even at the end, like when he gets the note from Spike and he's like, Spike, he runs out into the water. Like it seems like he wants to go after him, which is obvious, right? Like
Yeah.
he's his father. He wants to go after him. But to me, it felt more like he wants to go after him and like punish him, like to go get
Oh,
him
you
like
think
for what
so?
he did. I don't know. I kind of
I
got a
don't.
little bit of that note,
I
but
could
like
see that.
I just
No,
like
I
the
could see
flip
that. I just
where
didn't
they
think of it.
set you up as like this family man, tough guy, good guy, and then they flip it and say, no, this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't mind the flip. I think the flip was better, and in the second one, like in the 28 weeks later, like I think that flip just made more. Like
It
it was a
mattered more.
dramatic flip, and then it was kind of sitting there with us, like we know what he did. So I liked how we were just sitting with there. It's like, oh, we like the with the flip of the dad like cheating. It was like, okay, we saw it and the kids saw it, and there's like no like lingering thing of like, oh, is he gonna get caught or like, oh, now we're gonna start seeing through his eyes like, oh, he's a cheater, and then he'd slowly start doing more and more bad things. Like, oh,
Mm.
okay, this is the guy he really is. But it was just the one thing. It was like he was good, did a bad thing, he hit his son, so like it did get worse. He hit him, and then he
Yep.
punched
There
the
you go.
wall, and it's like, okay, he's not the greatest guy. But to me, his reasoning with the mom thing, that was what I was stuck on. I was just like, okay, yeah, like cheating, temper, hit his son. Oh, you want mom to die, and I'm like, I don't know about
See,
that.
but I don't think the movie's saying that he does want his mom to die. I think Spike asked the question. Spike is he's a kid, right? And again, like there's a whole lot of
Yeah.
stuff that he just doesn't know about the world because he's only lived on this little island for his whole entire life. So
Mm,
he's asking the question. He's like, "Do you want mom to die?" And he's like Jamie, his dad. He says no, and I believe him.
yeah.
I don't think he wants her to die. I think
Yeah.
he understands that his life would be more convenient if he doesn't have to take care of her. He's cheating on
Yeah.
her anyways. So like I think he's kind of indifferent, but I don't think he's like, gonna put a pillow over her face while she's
No,
sleeping. And I don't think the movie's saying that. I think it's just Spike asking the question.
that's fair. No, I see that. Like Uh, I think yeah, I think on this one I definitely lean a little bit more with you, or it's like I get that. I think it's tough just when you have a main character who's like a child and is like naive. If it doesn't have to be a child, if you just have a naive main character that you're following with, it's kind of just like it's almost kind of annoying because as a viewer, you're just like it's all to me. It's almost the same equivalent of like when you're with a main character in a horror movie and they make stupid decisions. It's just like, what was that sound? Let me go outside. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're an idiot. Like, I
Yeah.
don't go in there. And that's how I feel with like this. Even though he's a kid, I'm like, okay, he's a kid, but like you're making me follow him for the whole movie. And I'm just like, I'm just hearing him say these things. I'm just like, it's hard to like him because it's just like that doesn't make sense. And at least they didn't make him a cool kid. They
Yeah.
didn't make he grow into it, I guess. But the third movie is probably gonna be freaking John Wick of zombie killers, probably. But
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I mean, even at the end, like when those zombies started chasing him, I'm like, oh, he's dead.
yeah,
You know, like there's no like because if he did just become Legolas with a bow and arrow and just started killing zombies left and right, I'd be pissed. I'd be super pissed off because we saw him for the first time and he missed every single shot, and then
yeah,
yeah, he got a little more confident like through his journey with his mom. But if he had then turned into a sharpshooter, I would have been
yeah.
pissed, and that's not what happened. So
No,
that's what I so like I see your point where like it's tough to like him when he's doing things that like as an adult you and an adult from the world as it is, you understand that these are not necessarily the right questions to ask or the right things to do, but like canonically to what is happening in the story, it makes sense. He would
yeah.
ask these questions and he would assume these things about doctors that he just doesn't know any better.
No, that's fair. That's 100% fair. I think we lean closer on the connection with the mom thing, where I was like, I didn't feel connected to the mom, and you had said that similar point where it's just like, to me, it wasn't all just that they beat it on the head with of how many times they just made her forget, and like that was her only like trait in the entire movie. To me, I think it was also that they played it more, I feel, for comedy than for like actually like sympathy. Like it was hard to feel bad for because everyone, it almost always felt like a punchline when she forgot things,
Mm.
like calling him dad, or it's just like, oh, were you going to school? And then she's like, and then no, and then they come back to it. She's like, have fun at school, and it's just like it's almost, and he like smiles, and I'm just like, obviously you feel bad for her because she's sick in the movie, and like there's that, but there's so many times like they played it for comedy where it's just like they could have done it a little bit less and then maybe done it a little bit less where, as you were saying, it kind of got repetitive.
Or I feel like if you're going to keep doing it, you could almost use it as a tool to add some more tension to a scene. Like you could have her, like when the zombie pops up in the field and is like right behind her, right? Imagine she turned around and was like, "Oh, hi, dad," and like goes to
Mm,
walk up to him or something. So like Spike has got to run up and save her, right? Because she's walking toward a zombie. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like you could use it as something like that, but they just kind of like she's just kind of confused and nothing really comes of it.
Yeah, that was the. And it's funny because I didn't really like dislike it for your reason, but you make a good point with it of the repetitiveness of it too, where it's just like they didn't use it for anything besides just like I don't want to say useless dialogue, where it's just like it was just times when she forgot things or just said things where it's just like, I don't really, what is this really doing for the story? Like
Yeah.
it's not leading us to tension, or it's not like giving us new information. Sometimes it did, where she's telling stories about her dad and stuff. Like, oh, remember when you brought me here? But even her saying those things, remember dad when you brought me here? I'm like, all right, we're getting like a little bit of backstory, but like it's very just generic backstory. It didn't really also do anything. It didn't come up later or anything like that, really.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. Totally agree there.
And I liked how did you feel about Eric? Like when Eric came in, like I liked
Eric was
him.
great. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Eric was fantastic, dude. Like the whole movie changed when he came in. He came in for like 10 minutes and he was just cracking jokes. Like when he shows Spike his girlfriend on the
oh
phone.
yeah.
She's like, what's wrong with her face? Like, and the whole delivery driver. Oh man, my friend, he's a delivery driver. I should have just done that. Oh, you don't know what that is. People order packages on the internet. You don't know what that is. Like it was fantastic, man.
Yeah,
It was just funny for like the 10 minutes that he was there. And then the zombie baby gets his head ripped off. I was like,
yeah,
damn,
no,
this this was sick.
that was intense. I honestly wish that we got more of him. To me, that was it was a misstep to take him out, because I feel like he would have been a fresh addition. Because imagine it was him and the kid and the Jimmies or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like that's like a fun,
Mm,
weird dynamic. I feel like that's a character that would have been nice to have, because okay, spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't seen the first movie and the second movie. I'm gonna talk about the second movie. The you actually get not spoilers. You get the good surprises of characters that you're following dying. Like in the first one, there's the pops that dies, and it's like you're watching a zombie movie, so you're thinking like maybe anyone can die, but like sometimes you're like, oh, maybe nobody will because this is our core team. Nothing
Yeah,
bad's gonna happen to them. But you actually do get something like that happens to the core people. And then the second one, you get the whole thing of like, oh, the mom actually comes back, and the dad turns bad, and then freaking Jeremy Rainer's character gets freaking flamed, and I'm like,
that was
what?
crazy. I
I
was
thought he
not
was.
expecting that at all.
That's what I'm saying. This movie did not give us. It did not give us that. The Eric thing was kind of just like we just met him, and you guys just killed him so fast. It was just like, oh, okay. He was just like, I guess he wasn't that important.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess kind of what I didn't expect. I'm trying to think of something that like that I didn't. I mean, the Jimmy's coming back at the end. I didn't expect.
I didn't expect that, but it cheesed me.
Yeah,
So-
it
so I
was
don't-
it was comedic and like it felt kind of really out of place like for this
yeah, it
movie.
did.
I guess maybe that's setting up kind of the tone that they're going forward
Yeah.
with. Maybe it'll be a little bit different. But yeah, there wasn't a ton of stuff that I didn't see coming, and that actually leads me to one of my points. Is just like Ray Fiennes' character, the doctor.
Yeah.
That could have been an amazing like reveal and something that we didn't see coming, right? Because they set it up as here's this crazy guy. He has all these bodies and he's burning bodies, and we don't go over there. We don't mess with this guy, right?
Yeah.
And he survived on his own for 28 years out in this zombie world. How the hell did he do that? Like, there's just all this mystery around him,
Yeah.
right? But in the freaking trailer, we see him hanging out with Spike and
Yeah.
his mom, and I'm like, okay, so he's like a normal, totally good dude. So they have this whole air around him of like, don't mess with this guy, he's creepy. If we didn't see that in the trailer, then the whole time before he goes to see him, we're like, don't know, Spike, don't go to see the doctor. He's gonna freaking murder you and burn you alive. And like, but I knew he wasn't gonna do that. And then he shows up and saves the day, and I was like, damn it, this could have been a good reveal. This could have been good if they just left it out of the trailer.
No, 100%. I mean, they can't help themselves with trailers nowadays.
I
They
hate it,
got
man.
They got to tell you everything. They don't no surprises, no surprises. But yeah, I think we all, even if you didn't see the trailer, I'm sure some people just assumed that like that
Yeah.
doctor is probably not gonna do. Like it could have been like I liked when his character came in because there was still a little bit of this of like, okay, I know he's gonna be with them, but we trust him. He's kind of creepy still. You know what I mean? There was this
Mhm.
little bit of like, okay, like as he's showing them the stuff, when it turns night, is he gonna do something weird at night? Is he gonna try to like kill them? You know what I mean? Like, does he have a pet zombie or whatever? As I'm leaning into Walking Dead stuff where people have pet zombies and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Does he do some weird stuff with zombies? Is that why he's able to last? Because you know what I mean? There's all these little weird scenarios, but they didn't really go that route. He's just kind of just like a quirky doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like there wasn't he was there, he introduced like some deeper themes, I guess, as they talked about mortality and I guess that's pretty much it. He was just really
Yeah.
he's big prophetic mortality guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he never mentioned the afterlife, but like he's really big just on death.
Yeah.
But other than that, he didn't really they didn't take him too far. Could've
He was
been
just
more.
he was the prophet of the movie. He's like
Yeah.
the monkey in The Lion King, or he's just like that he's like a Yoda. He's like
Yeah.
that kind of character, just like this wise old man in the movie that just I think he's gonna be going in it for it. So he's just gonna be dropping a bunch of knowledge bombs probably on Spike once he sees them again. I'm assuming he's gonna be his
Yeah.
mentor kind of thing, probably.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah, true. I didn't even think of that, but you're right. He didn't die, so like I'm assuming he'll be back at some point.
Oh, 100%. I looked into it. I looked on the IMDb. Like he's gonna be in it. That's not even a
Okay.
spoiler because 100% he's probably gonna be in a poster and like 50 trailers.
Yeah.
So I don't feel
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
spoiling
We'll
it.
see him in the trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, they also mentioned that freaking Cillian Murphy's gonna come back.
yeah, I did see that too, which is also a weird thing to. Why not just leave that as a surprise?
That would have been an amazing surprise. Are you kidding me? If they pan over like they're running from a zombie and there's someone in the dark that just like mows everyone behind them down, and then he steps forward from the shadows and it's freaking Jim. How sick would that have been?
That would be
But
sick.
now we know.
I think, and it's interesting because I go back and forth with this, where I said like, I think it's just because there was certain elements of things I didn't like that. Then at the end, when I was not liking Spike and I wasn't like the mom, I was like, okay, well at least give us a cool cameo. Somebody
Mm.
it doesn't have to be what's it called, Cillian Murphy, but there's a lot of characters in this franchise that I shouldn't say a lot, but there's a decent amount of characters in this franchise that we saw their faces. We didn't see them die in those movies. So can we see one of them as just like a little nod to the people that you're uh pulling back in, because you could have made just a random zombie movie, but you specifically made 28 years later. So you're trying to pull those old fans. So can you do something for those old fans? No, they cannot.
You get Jimmy instead.
Yeah, we just
All the
get Jimmy
Jimmies.
instead, and we get told that maybe Cillian Murphy will be in the next movie, because not confirmed. They said they'd like to have him in it. Is what I saw.
Oh, I saw they're like, yeah, he's gonna be in it, and he's gonna be like badass, and he's gonna be
Well, let's see how much, if the second movie's good. That's the thing, when you wrap yourself into, oh, we're making a trilogy. I'm like, well, you got to make 2 good movies to get to the third. Like if the second one's dog crap and nobody goes out to see it, they make no money. They still gonna force the third one? Probably not.
Well, the only thing, well, they pretty much always make money on these movies though, because the budget is so small, because they can just contain it to this one. Like we said, they shot like this one. They shot on iPhones mostly.
Yeah,
They shot on a few different things, but it was primarily with iPhones. The first one was with a digital camcorder. Like this had a $60 million budget.
that's a
Like
lot
it's
though.
already made money. Yeah, but it's
That's a
already
lot
made
for a
money.
horror, for most horror movies though. And I'm just thinking about, I think that mostly just comes from like Ray Fiennes, and then like Aaron Taylor John. It's like, because now that you're getting big names, the other
Yeah.
movies when they came out, at least, like those weren't big names in the movies. So now
No.
you're getting like actual well-known actors, and are you gonna keep getting well-known actors to be in the next ones? Now your budget's getting inflated a little bit. Usually a good like horror movie, you want to keep it under like 20 million. So when I hear like 60, 50, I'm like, okay, now you got to do some work.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure this one's already made money, and
Oh
I don't
yeah.
think they're worried about the site. Like, it'll make money. It'll make, because like even when it, like, you didn't like this movie. When the next
Mhm.
movie comes out, you gonna go watch it?
I don't know, to be honest.
Nah, don't give you that. You're gonna go
I
watch
don't know, to be honest. I won't watch it in IMAX. I'm not making that mistake.
it.
I'm gonna go on a
I don't. They
Tuesday
don't. It's
cheap
gonna be
day.
filmed on an iPhone, bro. There's not gonna be even gonna be an IMAX. What are you
No, but
talking about? There's
nowadays
no
they
IMAX
force it.
cameras.
They just stretch things on IMAX, even if they're not IMAX movies now, because they know they
Mm.
can make more money that way. They do that all the time. But I
That's
don't know
fair.
if I'm gonna go see the sequel, to be honest. I can't be out here calling it 28 buns later and then be seated like with my buns like the opening
your
night.
buns.
I don't know, man.
No, you're gonna watch it.
Maybe I need to rewatch this
Don't
one
give
and
me
see
that.
if I can like it more. But
Well, I still haven't. All right. Well, let me give you some of my. Let me give you some. I don't know. What do I call it? Evidence.
push.
My
Okay, yeah.
argument.
I think, yeah.
So like the 3 acts, I like the story structure. You talk about you didn't like it as much. The first act being Spike and his dad, Spike's first trip out on the mainland. I love that. I thought, it was really creepy. They did a good job setting up the alpha without giving us too
Mhm.
much at this point. Like we saw him up on the horizon, and then he like yelled, and all of them come chasing after him, and we're like, oh snap, what is this? Like, what is that? That is
Yeah.
scary. Like, he's bigger than everyone, and he's
Mhm.
controlling them. Like, I don't want to mess with that guy, right? But
Yeah.
we don't see anything else. So we're like, they set it up, give us just enough. We get the scene in the house with the guy hanging up. That was creepy. There's a little funny moment with the frisbee, and then this is when he teases the doctor, right? We see the smoke. So I like that first act of that first trip. Even on the way back from they're running across the bridge, and there's the alpha that's chasing them. They have to shoot him down. That was a pretty cool moment. Before I get to the second act, do you have any pushback on that or anything that I just said there?
Well, I guess more for me, when I say I don't like the story structure, I think what I'm realizing more so is, as we've been talking about, it's more so just the depth of the characters and
Mm.
how they were displayed in, like, I guess that's the structure I didn't, because to me, which is funny, because we talk about how when we did our last episode, like F1, one of the things we liked about like the Brad Pitt characters, like you have like these layers, right? And they don't there's not all this exposition to explain past things, or they don't dump you with like a bunch of flashbacks, which is like, okay, we like a little of the mystery,
Mhm.
and we can kind of just like imagine what kind of happened with that character and stuff like this. But to me, with a lot of the characters, there's a lot of mystery that's not answered, like with, at least with our big characters, like when we have like with the doctor, like Dr. Kelson, like we have with Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, which is Jamie, I think, right? Jamie's the
Yeah,
dad's name.
Jamie. Yeah.
And then the mom. to me, there's a lot of questions. And then there's the question of, okay, what happened to Jimmy? What happened to Jamie? Because since now I'm realizing that that's not Jimmy. What the heck's his backstory?
Yeah.
What's Kelson's backstory? And how did the mom get sick? Why did she go beast mode for like 1 second to save
Yeah,
the
that was
kid?
crazy.
And then I was like, oh, what's her background story? Was she like a badass? Are we gonna get like a flashback? Or was she gonna be like, son, like I'm remembering something? Like that just happened, and then we never went back to that. So I was just like, okay, was that like a tease of like she's actually a badass? Or was that just like a motherly, like, even to me, it was just all too much like openness, and it bothered me because I was like, you know what? Maybe they're trying to be mysterious. But then when I get the Jimmy reveal at the end, I'm like, oh no, it's all mysterious because it's a trilogy and they're leaving everything with open without like actually giving you character development because they want to give it to you throughout the trilogy, and they're going to give you flashbacks later of like his mom or whatever, do whatever. And that annoyed me in the sense of that structure where it's like all these openings in characters where it's just like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna fill them up in the next two movies. Like, no, like don't do that with
Yeah.
every character.
I agree with you there. Like I said, the main character I was like, the mom didn't like so I agree with you. The characters I thought were pretty weak in this movie. Like I think your point of like they're leaving it open like backstory and stuff for the future movies, like this is what the first movie is for giving us backstory on these characters, making us care about these characters, and then the next couple movies you build on it.
Yeah.
Whereas like they're doing the opposite. They're like, okay, here's what these characters are doing. Later we'll tell you how they got there and why they're doing this. That's a little backwards. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. And that's why to me, I was like, this isn't a TV show. This isn't Walking Dead where it's like, hey guys, you're gonna get 10 episodes. Don't be
Mhm.
upset that you're not getting everything in the first episode. I'm like, no. This is a movie. This is not a TV show. You don't do it. You can't, and you also didn't tell us that you're giving us 3 movies. So we're assuming it's one movie. So you can't, you have to make us care about these characters first and then add on to them later on with that in the sequels.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But would you say you agree with the things that I liked about the first act, like the air of creepiness, like
Yeah.
when they're crossing the bridge and then they're cutting back and forth to like their shots of like soldiers marching and stuff, like and there's this reading that's happening, audio. It was eerie and creepy as they're crossing the bridge going into the mainland, and like the alpha setup. I thought that stuff was sick.
No, I 100% agree with you. And then that's why I went on that like that little tangent kind of right there, because I was saying that like as I was hearing you talk about how you like that, I'm realizing I'm like, well, yeah, I actually didn't have an issue with that. Like I had no
It's the
issue with that. Like
characters.
I did like that. It's really mostly the characters. It's just like a lot of what actually happened, like all those things you mentioned, I like really enjoyed those things. It was just the
Okay.
characters that just fell flat for me.
Yeah. Fair. Okay, second act. So the second
Yeah.
act being Spike and his mom's trip to go see the doctor, right?
Yeah.
Um, this one I didn't like as much. To me, the story didn't evolve a ton. Like I said, like they set up the alpha, and we get more of the alpha. Like when he rips the head off, like this is
Mm.
their thing that they
Yeah,
rip
they just rip
heads
heads
off.
off.
Like we get a little moment of that. When Eric came through, that like I said, I love that moment. That was
Mhm.
funny. Like but it also felt kind of wedged in. Like right before this, when we see like his team running through like the tunnels or whatever, getting chased by zombies, like we just kind of get thrown into this chase, and I was like, who the hell are these people? Like I thought
Yeah,
I
I
thought it
know.
was a flashback because like they were all suited up in gear,
Yeah.
right? I was
No,
like,
same.
what where are we? Who are these people? What's going on right now? They that was not very well communicated. So that's what I'm saying. I didn't like the second act as much. I liked Eric's moment, and then there's the moment even on the train, like with the zombie giving birth. I was like, how do we have a pregnant zombie? Like they're having sex, like they're smart enough to have sex. To me, I was like, and they didn't even say this, but this is my theory, and I'm interested to see if you agree. That's the alpha's baby, and that's why he was chasing him so much.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah, because like how angry he got when he came in there, and the fact that they kept following him, I was like, the Alpha keeping track of people like that. Do they really care? That is a g- I that is. I'm glad you brought that up because I actually didn't leave a note about that. But I was thinking that same too. I'm like, is that his child? Is that why he's going so crazy? And now that's gonna be a thing going forward? Because at first I thought, do you think well, I guess no, it was 28 years later. It wouldn't make sense. There was a small part of me thinking I was like, oh, was someone pregnant, got turned, but then your
Mm.
baby doesn't get affected? Or did she get pregnant while infected by the alpha?
She must have, yeah.
Yeah, I don't I assume that that is the case. It's that way. And it's always nice because every movie always has like an element of hope. Like in the first one, they're like, is there a cure? Because it's so new. Like, I don't know if there's a cure. Let's move around, see if there's a cure. The second one, it's like it's they think like the mom is like, oh,
A
she's
genetic
genetic kind
thing.
of thing. Yeah. And then this one,
Yeah.
it's like, oh wait, babies can be born from zombies uninfected. Like here's like an inkling of hope. Like maybe there's something good here. Like there's always like those little inklings. And I like how they added that in. But yeah, that's a good point about it. Is it the Alpha's kid? I assume so. They never said in how would they say it. He's in
Yeah,
talk.
I'm guessing they'll build on this in the second one, and I'm interested to see where they go with this baby thing. I think it could be something interesting. Like you said, there's that nugget of hope attached to it.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird though, like when she's giving birth, like she was, because Spike's mom goes right up to her, right, and she's like
Yeah.
not attacking her, gives birth to the baby, and then starts to attack her. I was like, well, how? I guess maybe with the baby in her, it like triggers her motherly instincts or something, or
Yeah.
like it's physically attached to her, so it's like it's almost negating the virus and like the aggression that comes from the virus. And then as soon as you cut the umbilical cord, now she's just a zombie and wants to attack you. But that was kind of weird.
Yeah, that I kind of like let it go because I was just like, we're 28 years later, so like they're clearly trying to show us that like they've evolved and like they're kind of different, and we even see, I'm like, okay, they don't are all like they all have rage, but like it seems like it varies. Like the fat
Mm.
ones, for example, they're like eating the worms. They don't really seem like they have that much rage. I don't know how they got that way. I
Yeah,
don't know.
true.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if it's just like I don't know. Again, those things will probably get answered more, or maybe they won't. They don't necessarily have to be, but I did think that was interesting too. I'm like, okay, she's not attacking her. I'm like, oh, are they having like a moment here? Is this like, and now that she helped her, is she gonna be cool? And no, she was not cool. She
Yeah.
tried to kill her immediately after.
And Eric wets her up, gets his head ripped off for it.
Oh yeah,
That
which I
was
guess that was, but yeah, was that his wife or his baby mama? I guess I don't know if they get
yeah.
married.
Yeah, I don't think they get married. I think it's just his baby mama, but
That
maybe he's got multiple. You don't know.
maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's
He's
freaking
well endowed,
Nick
so I'm
Cannon
sure
out
he's
here. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Nah, I don't want to put that
Samson
on. I don't want to
Cannon.
put that on Nick Cannon
Yeah.
after you said that, but but I don't. Yeah, I don't
um,
know, man. He's got
all
He's
right,
got
third
multiple.
act.
Yeah,
So meeting Dr. Kelson. To me, this
yeah,
one, I thought one, it was super cool to see like the bone temple. That was
yeah.
freaking sick.
No, I
Like
agree.
seeing the way like all the pillars of bones and the skull pyramid or whatever, like it just looked super cool. Um,
Yeah,
and then the movie really changed. I think like we talked about like he's like in that role of like a prophet and the whole remember death type of thing. Like just like it introduced these deeper themes that they wanted to explore, I guess. So I thought that was interesting. There was some nasty stuff as like just washing bones and stacking it up.
oh
Like
yeah,
freaking Spike, as soon as his mom dies, they wash up his bones, puts it on top, and kisses the skull of your wife that
yeah,
died 10 minutes ago. This is disgusting.
yeah. No, it is very strange.
But I like the third
Very.
act. What'd you think
Yeah,
of
I didn't
that
mind. It
whole
was
scenario there?
it was interesting, and I actually have a theory that the mom actually, I didn't see anything about this. I'm assuming the mom actually isn't dead, and then she's gonna show up later on.
So whose skull was that?
That's my thing. I've watched enough horror movies that why would you have an off screen kill in like in a horror movie? You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
it could have been like a tasteful death. Like he could, like, how did he kill her? You know what I mean? Did he shoot her or something?
I
Like
think he
did he?
blow darted her. Yeah,
They could have showed that. Why couldn't they
yeah,
have shown that?
they could
Part of
have,
me is
but I feel like
thinking that's just my
I don't
theory.
know.
I'm just like, okay, because also to me, then that character really falls flat if she doesn't come back. Where it's just like we didn't really know anything about this mom, and then she dies, and we don't know anything about her. Maybe they'll give us flashbacks of her like as she's dead. But part of me is just like, I don't know. I'm just so conditioned from like watching a lot of horror movies that like when someone's like, "Oh man, what happened to Daryl?" It's like, "Oh, he died. He got hit by that bus." And it's like, "Did you see him actually, like his body?" And they're like, "No." And it's like, "Okay, well, you're gonna come back later." And that usually
Yeah,
what happens. So in this, when I'm seeing a zombie thing, and a lot of time that happened in Walking Dead too, where it's just like, okay, I didn't see the body. They just kind of, she's came back with a skull. I'm like, I don't know. I'm skeptical.
Okay,
That's
I
just a
mean,
theory.
I suppose it's possible, but to me, I think she's really just there to show us Spike's like soft side, like for Spike to be the hero, right? He got her
Yeah.
to the doctor. It's terminal cancer. He can't help.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can be done, and that's just the way the story goes. But like this, it shows Spike on his journey. This is why he left the town, and it got him to the position where now he's out on the road by himself, ends up with the Jimmies, and now he can advance the story. But like you're right, her character, there's not a whole ton to her. I mean, this is what we've been saying the whole podcast. The characters are just weak.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It really is what it is. And yeah, I don't know. I'm sticking with that theory. I'd like it to be true, just so maybe. But I'm saying I'd like to be true. Like I'm gonna go watch the second one. I don't care if it's true or not.
I'm interested to see where you go with your awards then for a movie that you didn't like. So
Well, like I said, there's a lot of I mentioned at the beginning. There's a lot of things I did like about it. It's just
okay,
the characters. Like yeah, you'll see the way my things are represented through my
yeah,
awards, obviously. But my last thing that I wanted to say, like my last note,
hmm
is this guy. I guess this kind of leads into the fact of like Jamie not being a good father, or whatever it is. But part of me was just like, this didn't make sense to me. I was like, you get the note with the baby from Spike saying that like, yeah, I died, like whatever, mom's dead, I'm not coming back. Here's a baby, whatever it is. And then he gets all mad and freaks out. But I was just like, what were you doing these last 2 days? Your son and your wife have been gone for 2 days. You get a note and now you're freaking out. We've seen it be night 2 times through the since the mom and the dad and the son left. And now he's freaking out, running. What the hell would you? Your sick wife and son have been gone for 2 days. The hell were you
damn.
doing?
My guess is because right they say that when the tide comes in you can't cross the bridge, right? So my
Yeah,
guess is when the tide drops he goes out and he's looking around for them, and then when the tide when he has to go back he goes back, waits for the next morning, then goes out. So this was like right in the start of the, because right as soon as he yells he runs out of the house and he goes and he's deep in the water, so the tide's
yeah.
up. So I think it's just like he was back at home because the tide was up.
That
I have to believe that he was out looking for him. He had to have been.
the way the movie made it look is like he just
He was
realized.
just
He's like,
chilling.
what? My son and my wife are gone. It's like, Doug, it's been 2 days. Like they never
That's
give us
fair.
one flash back to the island of being like, have you seen Spike? Have you seen Spike? You could have just done that.
Yeah,
But I guess they don't
true.
want us to show that he cares or that he's a good dad. But damn, man, it made it seem like in that moment he's just like, wait, what?
Yeah, maybe he was just having sex with his mistress. He didn't even notice.
I guess so. I
That is
guess
a good
so,
point, though.
man.
I didn't even think of that. But you're right. They didn't flash back to him once, like looking for them or nothing.
Nothing, man.
As soon as they went on their journey, we did not see him again until the very end of the movie.
Exactly, which was so, and that's why again I'm going back to the whole TV show thing. It was very Days of Our Lives or freaking a soap opera of him running. Son, I'm just like, oh my god, what are we doing, man? And then next episode on 28 years later,
Oh yeah, there you go.
previously on 28,
Yeah.
son, like oh, just
28 years
him-
ago.
yeah, it was very much TV show, and I just did not like that.
That's fair. That is
He's
a good
watching
point.
Last of Us, and he's thinking that he's making a TV show too. I'm like, no, they're actually making it into a television show. You guys are making a movie. But that was my last note.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just got a couple just really small ones. One,
Yeah.
the angles, like when they would headshot, like kill shot a zombie, and then like it paused and the camera like moved a little bit. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen that in any of the other movies, so this was a little just cinematic thing that they added to it that I thought was kind of interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Did you see the setup for it? Like how they did that with all the
Yeah, the rig of all the cameras around
iPhones.
them, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was insane. They said they were trying to do like a bootleg, like bullet time kind of thing. Cause it wasn't like in the Matrix where he did like the spin around, but it's the same kind of like idea where like we're gonna have a bunch of cameras around someone. And they didn't do like a spin around, a spinorama kind of thing. They kind of just did
Yeah.
like we're gonna get a bunch of shots of just like that one hit, which I thought it did look pretty cool. My sister didn't like that. She said that was part of the reason she thought it was bun. She wasn't feeling that
She
that
didn't like
shot.
that. I thought
She
it was
thought it
cool.
looked she thought it was janky.
Oh, and then the when they get to the gas station, Spike and his mom, right? And then they go inside, and then Eric. That's when Eric pulls up
Yeah.
and blows it all up. But it's a Shell gas station, and the S fell off, so it says Hell. I was I see what they did there. Okay,
Yeah,
just
no,
a
that was
little,
good.
just a little clever little thing. And then finally the Power Rangers I mentioned, at the end, they all pull up with different cars.
Yeah.
Like, these are literally, that's the note that I wrote down when I was watching the movies. I was like, the freaking Power Rangers pulled up. And remember Spike, before he goes out for his first trip to the mainland, he has a Power Ranger action figure. And he's
he does.
contemplating. He's like, oh, should I bring it with me? And then he ends up leaving it there. So I guess he's a Power Rangers fan, and now he's a Power Ranger.
That's interesting. You made the Power Rangers connection, because my immediate thought was when I saw them, I was like, oh, the Teletubbies, because they were watching Teletubbies at the beginning.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So I was thinking, and I was like, did any of those girls survive? And my sister's like, no, they all got killed at the beginning. And I was like, the same thing I said earlier. Did we see them all die? Off-screen kills in a horror movie. That doesn't mean
we did. No, we saw Jimmy go around.
You saw blood splat. We didn't see their bodies get bitten into. What do you mean? How many other times you've watched all the movies, when someone dies, you see them die?
Okay, but kids getting mauled by zombies? Like, no, we understood what happened there.
I don't know, man. Those kids, I bet you one of those kids is at least one of those sisters.
Maybe.
I'm banking on that too. Again, yeah, you don't have to show a kid dying, but horror movies are not.
Actually, you know what? You're right. It could be that they were all freaking trained sleeper agents, and then the zombies came, and the blood splatter that we saw was the zombies' blood. Like, they killed the zombies.
Maybe, I don't know, man.
Could be. You're right. It's possible.
I don't know.
But it's interesting. You Teletubbies. Yeah, you thought Teletubbies, and I thought Power Rangers. Interesting.
I mean, both. Yeah, color scheme thing. That's made me think of that. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I actually do have one more note. I was just I was looking at the inspiration just for for Danny Boyle, like, because why he did the iPhone thing specifically. Because I was like, okay, you kind of went with like the gritty approach from like when he did it the first time, and I was trying to say, like, why did you do the iPhones? And I don't know. I thought it was interesting that he said, well, the iPhone is like the modern day camcorder. Even though camcorders still exist, they're just more accessible in that sense. And I was like, part of me was like, that's true, but like an iPhone's not gritty. They're just so high quality nowadays that the movie actually didn't even look that gritty.
No.
It looked like the iPhone cameras are so good. It actually just looked like almost like a cinema camera. Not obviously not 100%, but like it didn't look like, oh, I can definitely tell it's just on the iPhone. It looks kind of bad.
I know what you mean, but I don't know. I like that they're maintaining the thing. Like, they're just staying true to what the franchise is built on. Just
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that if anything, the iPhone isn't gritty enough. If you want to keep it gritty, use a camcorder again. Don't even use an iPhone, because an iPhone just looks so crisp.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I was like,
no paid ads for Apple.
What? Yeah, I guess so.
Wait.
Yeah, Apple paid for the movie. Actually, I don't even know if Apple is. That just isn't even an Apple movie, actually.
No, it's not.
But they're definitely getting a lot of shout outs.
Yeah.
During the press run for this movie. But yeah, that was my last thing.
Oh, that's fair. All right, it's Filmies time then.
Let's get into the Filmies.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Filmies. This is the aforementioned award show that we do at the end of every episode. We got 6 awards, and we're going to jump straight into it with the first award being our fit check. In a zombie movie, this is always a little weird, but what was your favorite or least favorite outfit of the movie?
So I went with least favorite. It's the worst fit of the movie.
Okay.
And I gave it, yeah. I mean, like you said, it's a zombie movie.
Yeah.
So I figured it's a lot easier to go the other way in these kind of movies. True. So I went with Dr. Kelson, and it's more so it's a mix of things. Like, obviously you're in a zombie apocalypse, so you're limited on what you could wear. You know what I mean? And he's got his whole thing that he rubs on his body to keep the zombies away. But my point is the fact that you got all these dead bodies and you never found one decent fit that you wanted to cop.
That's a really good point.
all these dead bodies and you're wearing them janky ass wife beater and those beat up pants. I'm sure there's someone that you saw a body like, oh, those are those apple bottom? Okay. Like,
damn, she died in Givenchy? Yeah, run that. That's such a
all
good
I'm
point.
saying, man.
I
That's
love
all I'm
that.
saying.
That's a great point.
That's
I
why he
never
gets
thought of
my-
that. That could have been like your lazy award. Like
It almost
dude.
was. It was borderline lazy. I said it's borderline lazy, but to me, I just, yeah, no. He had the most potential to have a nice fit. Is my
Yeah.
issue. Everyone
Yeah.
else is on an island, so it's just like
That's
you're
such a great
limited.
point. I love that. That's a fantastic pick. I love that so much. That's great.
What about you?
I didn't think of that, or else I probably would have done the same. But I have my best fit, and it's Jimmy at the end, dude. When he
Okay.
pulls up, he's got the purple tracksuit, the gold chains, like the one chain with the cross is there to
Yeah.
tell us like this is the same kid from before. But he had like 4 chains.
Yeah.
I don't know where he got these in a zombie apocalypse. He had rings too. He had a bunch of gold rings. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this guy's he's
They've
swagged
been
out.
copying. They've been copying fits.
Exactly.
They've been.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's my issue. They didn't take the Jimmy approach.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't take the Jimmy approach. I should say. Yeah, like that. That's a. You know, it's funny if I liked Jimmy's fit, even though when I saw my guy kind of cheese, I was like, it's a good fit.
Yeah, you couldn't give him his award just because
I couldn't give him the award though. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I respect it. The pettiness, I respect it. I
just
like
the
it.
pettiness. Because I couldn't be out here shitting on the whole Jimmy thing and then being like, and my best fit goes to Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I can't give it to him. No.
That's fair. I respect it. I like it. Okay, our next award is our Ferris Bueller Award. So this is our lazy award. So there was a lot of laziness kind of going around in this movie. So I'm interested to hear who was the laziest person in your opinion in this movie. Who gets your lazy award?
So my Ferris Bueller award goes to Jamie. And
Okay.
it was almost the doctor, but then I was like, that's more of a fit thing. So then I slid over to fit. But to me, it kind of goes against what I was saying earlier about how he's what's it called? He's in the right to not ask the doctor or go to the doctor because he thinks he's crazy. But your wife is sick. Why not at least ask? You know what I mean? It's a 3-on-1. It's 3 of you. You see one guy. You're seeing all the bodies and stuff like that. He's telling you to come over. Y'all don't think you can take that old man? I just think it's just laziness. That's just my opinion. They didn't want to go. He didn't want to go over there. You can at least ask you like, yo, I'm seeing all these dead bodies. Like, what are you doing here?
What's going on here?
What's going on here? Just let me like. And he's like, oh, I'm eating them. All right, cool. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I just love being around dead bodies. Cool. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't even ask though. He just kind of like, that's weird. I'm out. Like, at least ask.
That is a really good point. I like that. But like, so if he did that and the doctor gives him the real answer, like I'm gonna burn them all, clean their bones, and build a temple with their bones. Are you sticking around for that, or is that also like cool? See ya.
I think that's a little less weird because I think my mind's going in way worse places.
Yeah.
I think if I heard that, I'd be like, okay, he's weird, but we're in this is weird times. Like, because I'm thinking like, I don't know if he's eating these people. I don't know if he killed all these people. If he tells me, oh, I didn't kill these people are already dead. Okay, oof. What are you gonna do with it? You're gonna eat these people, or what are you gonna do with them? It's like, well, I'm just gonna burn them, and then I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. But it's like I'm making like a memento thing, like it's like stacking their skulls. I'm like, okay, that's still pretty weird, but like I'm not seeing any cannibalness in you or like you doing some weird things with the dead bodies. Like there's like no necrophiliac or anything like that. Like, so I'm like,
whoa,
all right, this guy seems all right, but he didn't even ask. So to me, he gets my Ferris Bueller award for that.
That is a good point. Or it could even be like you said, like was he just chilling back on the island while his son and wife were out missing for 2 days? Like was he not just out running around? Like, yeah, good lazy word.
What about you?
My lazy word goes to it's funny. It kind of ties into what you were just saying. Like, didn't ask like are you eating these zombies or whatever.
Yeah.
So I gave it to Alex Garland, who's the writer.
Yeah.
And it's for not showing us or telling us how Dr. Kelson is surviving. How is this like bro? So he says he puts this chemical all over his body, keeps the zombies away. Where the hell is he getting that? Where is he getting this chemical? And he has these morphine blow darts. Where the hell is he getting morphine? Where the hell is he getting these blow dart things? And what is he eating? what is this guy eating? Like we don't know nothing about how. Like seemed like he was just chilling. Like he built this temple and like there's a whole zombie apocalypse all around him, and he was just like chilling at a resort. Like he was way too comfortable for them to not tell me how he's managing all this stuff.
And like they didn't even tell us that like this guy he was in the military, you know, he's done a couple terms and all that stuff. Like you just told me he's a doctor. Why can he do all this?
Yeah, true.
How can he do all this stuff? I thought he was just a doctor and he looks like he's an old man. Like I don't
Like bro is just taking care of his patients. A zombie outbreak popped off, and he's like, I know. I'm gonna go into the woods, burn all the bodies, and build a temple, and I'm just gonna be able to do this somehow.
and bring 28 years of morphine with me wherever I go.
Yep. Yeah, and whatever this other chemical is that I'm gonna rub all over my body. That, like, if they showed him like harvesting like a plant, and he's like crushing the plant to get the juices out of it, and this is what's like he's covering his body or something. Like, all right, cool, I get it. There you go, box is checked. They didn't say nothing. They were just like, he just said, I cover my body with this chemical. How? Where are you getting this? You're in the middle of the freaking forest.
And you know what? When they're gonna tell you in episode 2 of
yeah,
we're gonna get all of that. What is he even eating?
That's what I'm saying. What is he eating?
Like,
where is he getting food?
Man. I don't know.
They didn't show him hunting. Nothing.
There's my issue. It's just too open. Like there's just so much unanswered. Where it's just like, okay, I like a little bit of mystery, but this is way too much mystery. Tell me something. We're not even gonna tell you his name. Like, all right, dog. Like, it's a guessing game. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why. So one of your beefs, I worked into my lazy award. So.
All right, that's perfect.
Okay, next up we got our Peyton Pritchard Award. So this is our 6-man. So this is someone with a small role in the movie that showed out, did the most with that small opportunity. Who gets your 6-man?
I went very left field on this, and I went with Jason Cassidy, who you have no idea who that is.
Nope.
And he is the head of marketing.
Oh wow! Okay.
And the reason I gave it to him is because it was partially his idea to do the poster with all the skull heads. Like I don't know if you've seen that poster, it's all the skull heads, and then just says 20 years later. To me, first of all, when I saw that, I was like, that's a hard poster because you're just like, what is going on in this movie? If you're someone that doesn't even know what this franchise is, you're like, damn, that's intense. Like, are we gonna see that many deaths in this movie? We didn't see that many deaths in this movie, but like, it just makes you think of like, oh damn, like there's been a lot of deaths in this movie. Like this movie's going for it. I thought it was just like a really cool, just like haunting image. Like it was him and Boylan like both came to those terms, but I just wanted to give it to him because it was partially his idea too. We can only give it to one person, so and he's more of a 6-man than Boylan,
than the director of the movie.
Danny Boyle. Yeah, Danny Boyle. So I was like, okay, let me go with the. So I gave it to Jason Cassidy for that because I think the poster.
I like that. I never even thought of a marketing team to go with the 6-man. That's a new one. I'll have to keep in mind for future future movies if I like a trailer or something or some cool promo that they did. That's an interesting one. I like that.
Yeah, weapons might get that. The trailer for Weapons is hard.
Facts.
We'll keep that in mind.
I'm not a horror movie guy, and I'm into that. I want to watch that.
That's what I'm saying. What about you though?
Is that even the marketing though? Does marketing make the trailer? I don't think so.
They discuss how much they give away, I think. But no, yeah, there's definitely there's a lot that goes into that. We'll when we do that episode, if we do that episode, we'll dive deeper into that. But
no, we're gonna do that episode. I'm interested.
Okay,
in weapons.
All right. What about you?
Okay, my 6-man. I gave it to Eric.
Okay,
dude, I loved him. It was literally a different movie for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like he pulled up and it was just like jokes, and it was fantastic. Like the delivery driver, the order stuff online, what's wrong with your face? What's wrong with her face? Like, this is a cell phone. Like, this is a community, and then it dies, and he just like tosses it. He's like, now it's a brick. Or because that's what he said. He was like, what is that? He's like, well, in 5 minutes it's gonna be a brick. And he was fantastic. Like you said, you wanted more of him. He was great.
Which part of me, like, and it's not even a knock on him, it's more so just like in the annoyance of watching the movie, I'm like, why would you not keep that? You know, just in case. I don't know. Like, how do you know that those people on the island don't have? They probably don't. have like electricity or something to charge your phone. Maybe you can get that back on. To me, I was just like, I don't know. I don't know why you throw that away.
Well, his head got removed from his body 5
So
minutes
yeah,
later,
he
so
didn't
it
need it.
didn't really
Yeah.
matter.
No, it really didn't matter. But yeah, that's a great 6, man. And yeah, exactly. I wanted more of him in the movie, so I don't know why
Yeah,
I
he
didn't go.
pulled up,
Yeah,
had his moment, and he was great. And you made a good point earlier in the episode. You were talking about like if they kept him around, like if it was him and Spike at the end and they run into the Jimmies, like that could be a cool dynamic because he's not native to the
yeah.
island, right? Like he even asked the question, like when they die, he's like, "So what happens now? Like, do more come or whatever?" And Spike's like, "I don't know." He's like, "What do you mean? You live here? Like, what do we
Yeah.
do?" Like he could be asking those questions. They could ask him questions about what's going on in the outside world. He could like be trying to contact people for help or something like that. Like there could be some interesting stuff that they could have played off with him, but they decided to decapitate him instead.
And to your point, yeah, it just that would be really interesting dynamic of like you have this kid that knows nothing else but this world, and you have Jimmy who knows the world before and now has just been so much into that world, and then the guy that doesn't know anything about the world. I feel like it'd just be that'd be such an interesting conversation dynamic constantly, where they just
Mhm.
be like all over the place. But like, wait, how you don't know? Wait, you like? I feel like that could have been, and they might still do that. There might be another guy that comes in on the island or whatever
True.
that
Yeah.
brings us some like real world stuff. But I liked Eric, so I was like, maybe he could be that guy. But like you said, he's missing his head.
He's no longer with us. His skull
He's
is
no
on the
longer with us.
pyramid.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly. So
Okay, next we got our favorite quote. Self-explanatory. What was your best quote?
all right. So my best quote, you said it a couple times, and it goes to
I
Spike
Okay.
after seeing Eric's girlfriend. He said, "What's wrong with your face?" Oh my god, that got like this movie. Not even like in a bad way. I said it wasn't really funny. I don't think they played for a lot of jokes in this movie, but that got a big laugh in the theater, and I was laughing when he said
That
that
was
because it
good.
was just so unexpected. I bet you there's some girls that were tight if they were watching that movie and they had fake lips or
Yeah,
something. They're like,
true.
"What's wrong with her face?" Like,
Yeah, because he even made the thing. He's like, "Oh, I have this friend in my school. She has an allergy, and when she eats shellfish or whatever, her lips puff up just like that. What's going on?" Oh. And Eric said, "What are you talking about? She's beautiful." That was great.
oh yeah, that was good, man.
Good
That's
quote.
why I went with that quote. But what about you? What about you?
I gave it to Dr. Kelson. I
Okay.
went with the depth. Like I said, he introduced the deeper themes, and I liked
Yeah.
it when he says, "Remember death. Remember you must die." To me, he says it as we're seeing the Bone Temple for the
Yeah.
first time. So I was like, okay, this added some juice because the Bone Temple looked freaking sick. So I was like, okay, this is
Yeah.
super cool, and it just hit me. I was like, damn, like to me, it's a good lesson for real life, and this is what movies and art is for. It's right. It's to say something about real life and the world around us, and to me, remembering mortality and to me it's like a you only live once, like do like I don't want to say like you can be reckless and get crazy, but it's also like remember that maybe the small things don't matter, and remember that at the end of it we're all going to die, so
Yeah.
make the most of your life while you're here. I like
Like
that.
a carpe diem type thing, right?
Yeah,
Like not
basically. Yeah,
necessarily YOLO, but more so seize the day kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. But my only it's not really pushback with it because I agree that the messaging is good and all that stuff. But like to me, it's kind of like a funny idea that you have to remind yourself that you're gonna die in like an apocalypse.
Yeah,
Like I feel like there's constant every day you're reminded that you're gonna die because
yeah.
there's a fear of it every single day of getting killed.
Yeah, so like you're right. Like him building his entire life at this point around this saying doesn't really make sense, and it is pretty cheesy to have that, like you said, in a freaking horror movie where there's zombies all around you, that like you're literally just barely escaping death all the time. You don't need a
A
reminder of it.
reminder, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like in again, like when you go to see a movie, like you want the drama, you want the over the top stuff. You
Mhm.
especially in a zombie movie, this isn't realistic, right? So like I don't know, you want this extra stuff. So to me, like having this, like it just puts a nice bow on it. And there was the memento mori, like they say it in Latin, and it just, I don't know, sounds nice. I like it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, I'm not saying that like it's extra or even I'm not even saying that it's cheesy. I'm
It
just like
is. I think it's
thinking,
cheesy.
okay, I'm just thinking out loud that it's just funny because it's just like,
Yeah.
why would you need a reminder? Like everything he's saying makes sense, but I was just like, I feel like this isn't where you need a reminder of this. I was like when you're like in one of the worst times like ever.
Yeah.
It's like if we were during the global pandemic and you kept everyone's like locked in and you kept a sign in your house saying, "Remember, you will get sick." It's like, yeah. I mean, I'm really trying not to die right now from COVID, but yeah, I should remind myself that hey, you will get sick.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Fair point. Next we got our best scene. What was your favorite scene?
So my best scene goes to the first alpha chase when he's chasing them
Ah.
on the bridge. That was one of the most intense parts of the movie. Like it was insane. It was like we saw it building up. Like we saw, which again, very Attack on Titan esque. Like I said, I'm wearing the shirt. We see him like watching them, and then he's just like, "What is that? That's an alpha." And then they finally like they make it, and then the alpha realizes, and you just hear the dun 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 dun,
Yeah.
and it's like the slow build. We don't, and like it's that perfect thing of like the suspense of you know what's happening and your characters don't. So like they're just kind of walking normal, like, yo, the alpha's coming, man. And you just see it in the distance, just the water splashing, dun, 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 dun. It's getting louder. And then as he's like getting real close, then you like really see the water just flaring. And like they're running. He's like, what happened? Alpha, alpha. They're shooting him and he's not going down. I'm like, yo, these things are like they really set the table there of how powerful these alphas are. I'm like, yo, they shot this thing with fire and everything, and it's still not taking out. This isn't like like some just bow and arrow headshots gonna take them out. Even just like one shot with a gun, like well, it's I guess they don't really have guns. They at that point they just have arrows, but
Yeah.
it takes a lot to take these alphas down. And I was like, that really set the table, and I thought it was really cool. It got me excited. I'm like, okay, how many more alphas are we gonna get? I need to see more of these guys,
Hmm. Yeah.
but
Yeah. I
no more
totally agree.
glizzies though.
Yeah. Fully clothed alphas,
Yeah.
please. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're totally right. Like the suspense of them crossing the bridge when they don't know, and he's just like sprinting after them, getting closer and closer, and we're like, guys, he's right behind you, get going. And then they cross like this halfway point where they have like
The
an
bridge
arc
or
over
whatever,
top
yeah.
of it,
Yeah, arc, yeah.
and then yeah, it was just lit, the lighting too, like it's getting dark, so that always just carries this ominous kind of feel around it as well. They're throwing fire at him, so that just always looks cool, fire
Yeah.
in the dark with water splashing around, and like he gets mad close to them,
Yeah.
and they're yelling, they're like, help, help, alpha, alpha, alpha. He starts blowing the whistle, and then they finally take him out with a giant like javelin through the chest basically.
Yeah,
But
it's
like, you're
insane.
right, that was one of the ones that got the heart pumping for sure.
Oh, 100%. What about you, though? What was your favorite scene?
It's funny, mine's kind of like the opposite. It's
Okay.
them crossing the causeway, leaving the
Oh,
island, going to
okay.
the mainland.
Yeah.
For Spike's first trip to the mainland. So to me, like the interwoven shots of like the soldiers that were marching while there's a poem being read was
Mhm.
super eerie,
Yeah.
super eerie. It's the start of the movie. We haven't seen where the zombies are at yet. We've just been on the island where they're safe, and to me, there was just like putting this tone together of letting us know like they're walking into a bad situation,
Yeah.
and I would like the build up for it. I was just like, ooh, I was just kind of like getting ready. I was like, oh, this is gonna be crazy. So the poem is actually, it's called Boots,
Mhm.
and it's from 1903 by Rudyard Kipling, and it's about British soldiers marching in South Africa during the Boer War. And it's a recording from, like, the audio that we hear is a recording from 1915, and the poem
Mhm.
is like, is very repetitive. It's like boots, 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 marching, marching, marching,
Yeah.
constant, can't escape the war, like stuff like that. So it's like, so basically like the meaning behind it is like there's no escape from, in that scenario, war, but in this scenario, like zombies all around them.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, it's even like trying to think of something else to keep yourself from going insane, because it's like, it's something that apparently the U.S. military uses today. That poem, as part of like their training or whatever for like captivity, because
Mhm.
I don't know, it has that connotation of being trapped and no escape and trying to not go insane, which you can clearly see that link to these characters in this situation. So, but to me, just like the old school audio recording with the clips of the soldiers marching while we're seeing them walk across onto the main causeway, and everyone's been talking about how dangerous it is, and she outlines the rules before. She's like, you can go, but if you don't come back, we're not going out to save
Yeah.
you. Like, you're on your own if you go out there. Like, it just, the eeriness around it, I was feeling it deep in my bones.
No, that's a great scene. At first, I didn't know you were gonna. I was hoping you were gonna. You did add to it. I was like, he just liked the part when they were walking on the bridge. I thought you were just gonna leave it at that and be like, I just like how it looked when they were walking on the bridge. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. And then we're just gonna move on. But yeah, no, all those elements, like I think they had a little bit of that poem in one of the trailers, like in one of like their teaser
They did.
trailers.
Yeah.
And I thought I was surprised that they put it in the movie, and not even in a bad way. I was like, oh, they're actually putting this. I thought it was just like a trailer thing. So I did like the little flash cuts of them showing like the military and like going back and forth. So I agree. And you said that eeriness of when she mentioned that like if you go, we're not coming back for a while. I was like, oh, okay, like it's serious. Like it's been 28
Yeah.
years later, and like they have their whole society and stuff, but like it's still pretty dangerous out there, and they know that like we're not sending no rescue teams. Like we used to do that before, and we wouldn't get many people coming back.
And look what happened. They got all the crosses right beside her. Yeah, all the dead bodies. It's great.
Exactly. No, so it's a great scene.
Okay, final award, last but not least, is our MVP of a movie you didn't like. Who is your MVP?
So my MVP went to Anthony Mantle,
Okay.
and that is the cinematographer of the movie.
Okay.
So I was talking about how there was a lot of things I liked with it. And again, I like horror movies for a lot of reasons. Like for whatever reason, like I actually like to be scared. Some people don't like to be scared. I like there's obviously just good horror movies that have like good stories and good characters that also resonate with like any other movie. But I just like the element of like watching a movie to be scared or watching a movie to laugh. There's a line obviously. So some horror movies like I don't really like the supernatural stuff that much. Like I don't want to be scared like that for the most part. I at least want to somewhat, not every time, but somewhat see the villain or the thing that's creeping me out. The supernatural stuff not as much. But for this movie, I really liked the infrared shot when we got the zombies like red and stuff. I almost
Mm.
wish we got more of that. Like I wish that was like a cool like creepy element that like I wish we got like a night scene where like we would see them and then maybe like it was like low light, but in the distance you'd see like a little bit like a red, like if they played around with that where like the zombies are coming. I also liked the shot where they put the iPhone on the back and we kind of got like one of them is crawling. I was like, oh, that's a cool like shot. And they talked about how like it's kind of hard to do something like that because like with that you're just mounting an iPhone, but like when you have like a giant camera and all stuff, that's a little harder to do those kind of shots. So like, oh, this one was actually like a shot that we could play around with. They got to play around with a lot of different cool camera styles because they got to use the iPhone. And for people that don't know, he actually was the cinematographer on 28 Days Later. He did 127 hours and Slumdog Millionaire, which was also Danny Boyle. Those are the three
Mhm.
movies they've done together. And yeah, I want to give him some props because a lot of those shots I really enjoyed, and I actually think that I feel like they could have used more of it. Like I wish they used more of those great. I don't know. Again, my main issue was the character, so I don't think I would have liked it necessarily more if they used more of those shots that I enjoyed. But I just want to give them some props because I thought with what that they the task that they were given, they're like, hey guys, we're gonna shoot everything on iPhones. He's like, all right, I'm open for the challenge, and I think they delivered. To be honest, I think it turned out really well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's funny that he was also the cinematographer for 28 Days when it was literally just a camcorder. Like
Yeah,
that's got to be the easiest job. I mean, maybe he's setting up lighting and angles
yeah,
and spots for the characters. Like he's setting up other stuff, but like, it you said that here you go. We're shooting on iPhones. Here's your task. He was like, I was using a bag of chips before. Like, this is nothing. This is great. Like you said, the iPhones are crisp cameras. Like this is. He was
yeah.
like, this is light work. I could work with this.
What about you? What about you though? Who's your
My
MVP?
MVP is Danny Boyle. I struggle with this because like to me, normally when I watch a movie, there's someone or something that like really stands out,
Yeah.
and that to me is like, okay, this is my MVP. To me, there wasn't anything that like super stood out, but overall,
Mhm.
I enjoyed it. And a lot of times when that happens, I kind of just like lean toward the director.
Yeah.
You mentioned, a lot of your beef being with the characters being weak, my lazy award being with the writing. I wasn't gonna go with the writer. Um,
Yeah.
but I think he maintained that air of creepiness throughout. I said like he set it up throughout with that poem and those shots, and then he maintained that I think throughout. In the night scenes, there was a lot of like quiet moments where maybe we're just hearing like the crawling zombie like just like
Yeah.
slowly crawling while they're sleeping on the ground, like that kind of just eerie feel was maintained throughout, which I like. The kill shot angles, like I said, I guess that's not necessarily him, but he had a hand to play in that, I'm sure. um
No, I mean,
and I
yeah, like you
think,
said, he's the director, right? So like the
yeah,
director, he directs. He's got his hand on everything, right?
yeah, and I mean he was choosing obviously like where to just all the moving parts, right? He's just
Yeah.
keeping all the moving parts together. Uh, I think he kept the main focus being the story and not the zombies, which is something that I think this franchise does super well. Like I said, like this is a story in a zombie world. It's not a zombie movie with the story being secondary. So I think that was maintained like throughout the way that the movie was put on screen, like the way they I want to say like the way that like the scenes that were chosen, and like because there was some zombie chases and stuff like that, but it's mostly story, and that was
Yeah.
kept, and that's what the rest of the franchise is, and it's the same. So I gave it to Danny Boyle.
Yeah. No, it's good. And I definitely wasn't gonna give it to Garland. I don't want to come across like I hate Garland because like Garland's he gave us some good films. He's been on a good run.
Mhm.
Like I didn't see Warfare. I know he wrote that, and I know he also wrote
Oh, did
wrote
he?
the yeah he wrote Warfare and he wrote Civil War last. He's really on the back to back war movies. And then he did this. I'm like, maybe you got to slow down a little bit, dog. You did two movies.
Mm.
You did two movies at once. Maybe there was more character development in Warfare, and he didn't have any room for these for this
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
But and he also did Machina. I think it's what he said, Ex
Ex
Machina.
Machina.
Yeah.
Ex
So that
Machina.
was a
Yeah.
long time ago. We watched that
Yeah.
movie, like but
Yeah, it's a good movie.
it's a good movie. So he's definitely. It's not like I'm not gonna discredit him as like a writer or anything. Saying I just didn't like these characters, and like because I was calling it buns, I couldn't say I can't give the director my
Yeah,
MVP
that's fair.
because of that. I just stick to my guns of that. What we said through this conversation, you made me turn on a couple things with just like especially the what's it called, the conflict between the son and the dad and the son and the dad. Yeah, the son and the dad, where I was like between Jamie and Spike, where I was like, okay, I see more of your point with that. Now I just stand more with the characters, and it's just like,
Hmm.
yeah, that was the thing that was after
And
this
that
confrontation.
I'm not
Yeah.
arguing with you about that. You're right. The characters are weak, but Warfare is next on my watch list, so I'm
Oh,
gonna
there you go. Garland might.
see. Well, we'll see how we did on that one. I'll let you know if it's worth
Yeah. I'm,
what the characters are like, how good the characters are on that one.
but no certifieds. It's been a while.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I
It
guess it
has
goes
been a
with
while.
how we felt about the movie. We had different
True.
thoughts, so
Exactly.
it
Yeah,
makes
you're
sense
right.
why we
Yeah.
didn't have the same awards. But not even one. I thought maybe we might have got quote, but as you said a couple times, I was like, okay, he didn't put the "what's wrong with your face."
Yeah, because I would have saved it. Yeah,
Yeah,
for the
because yeah,
quote.
you would
Yeah.
have saved it, and then yeah, like a six man, we probably could have. The Eric thing was probably if I didn't just try to dig and find the friggin' head of marketing. I tried to get cute there.
I like it. No, that's a good.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. I didn't even think of that, but I'll have to keep that in mind for future ones.
Yeah. But do you have any final thoughts?
No, Superman next week,
Superman.
baby. You excited?
Superman. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm a big Superman guy, like for the people listening, and that's like my favorite superhero, which is like not a it's I always realize as I get older, it's kind of like a weird opinion because people are like you just like the OP superhero, but like it was just the DC
Classic.
comics. It was just a classic. It was more so from the comics. It wasn't even like from the OG movies. Like just the Justice League stuff. I don't know, I just vibe with that. You know what it was? It was Smallville.
Mm.
That was the first ever live action superhero show that I watched, and I watched almost like all of it. So I was just like really into Smallville. So I was like, yeah, Superman's dope. That's not the Superman we get. We don't really get young Superman. For all the movies
Yeah.
are usually always old Superman. But I'm excited. I'm excited regardless.
Well, I'm excited as well, and I just hope that we don't start off next general thoughts with you saying it's super buns.
Well, I hope it, to your point, you're wary of like, I feel like we're getting too many stories. I hope it's contained. Because it feels like there's a lot of things that he's dealing with in that movie.
That's what I was saying. That's what I got from the trailer. There's like 8 major characters in it. And I was like, yo, I don't know, man.
I hope we have faith in James Gunn.
Yeah.
I like his movies for I was gonna say for the most part. I don't think the movies I've seen of his I don't dislike. So I got faith in James Gunn.
Yeah,
So,
I'm excited to see, and we'll be talking about it next week.
Fingers crossed. But that wraps it up for us. If you want to join the conversation, join the film family, family meeting, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Film Room Pod. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts just search the Film Room Podcast. And if you want to support the show and you like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun stuff, leave a review. They can be funny, serious, weird, whatever it is. We're going to read it on the podcast. We love hearing back from the comments, Instagram comment stories. We love connecting with the family. And how many stars, Scott? I always forget how many stars we should, if they do a
28 stars.
28 stars. I mean, we'll settle for 5. I don't know if we can do 28. If you could try.
Well, you just got to leave 5.5 reviews.
I guess so.
5.5 5-star reviews. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 28 reviews later.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we'll definitely read every single one of them.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, that's. Do you have any last things you want to say? I'm gonna.
No, I'm good.
No, you're good. Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure. Maybe there's a thing want to slip in there, but I want you guys to remember the first movie was 28 days later. The second movie was 28 weeks later, and this one will forever, to me, be 28 buns later.
Damn.
And peace out.
See you.